What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comically Boston. Today is episode 85. We are chugging away this year. It is July 26, 2023, and today we are going to be talking about the Secret Invasion finale. And was it good? Was it bad? Who knows? We'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But real quick, we got a little tiny bit of news. The Continental series, a John Wick story from the world of John Wick. You know, everyone knows, if you've seen the John Wick movies, the Continental Hotel is the hotel that they keep going to throughout the movies. So this is a 3-part event that's going to be coming out in September of this year that I'm actually very much excited for. I like how they're going to drop it. It's not going to be like Secret Invasion week by week, 6 episodes. They're going to drop 3 weeks. But they're going to be, I think, 90-minute episodes, 3 episodes, you know, just a 3-part event. And it's going to be in the world, and it's probably going to be like a, 90 minutes. Probably be more like a 4.5-hour movie put on straight onto Peacock. And it's going to be, you know, I think John Wick probably won't be in it. Maybe it will, like, show John Wick's parents or something, or just show us more about the hotel. Either way, I'm excited to know what this show is about. Mel Brooks is in it, so I'm very interested in that show. Also, yesterday, just want to give a huge shout out to Jaylen Brown here. Signs the largest NBA deal in history, which, you know, it seems like every single year there's a new largest deal in NBA history, but 5 years, $304 million for Mr. Jaylen Brown. Locking up Jaylen Brown for the next 5 years until I guess Tatum's contract's up, and then he gets the Supermax and breaks the new deal for the largest deal in history in the NBA. But Jaylen Brown, man, excited to see him back for 5 more seasons, and hopefully they're 5 winning great championship seasons. I really had high hopes for this last year, but it is what it is. We'll get them next year. But alright, go check out my Barbie review and my Oppenheimer review. If you haven't seen those are on the channel. My last Comically Boston episode that came out Monday, we talked all about Oppenheimer and what I loved about that movie. So go check that video out and subscribe if you're new. But we're going to head right into Secret Invasion Episode 6, Home. And this was the finale of this series. And I was saying ever since like episode 3, I was like, I hope they land this bird. And honestly, I think the last 3 episodes being very short, 30, I think it was like 38, 39, and 38, like, end as a finale, like a 60-minute banger. Like, they could have just done 4 episodes and made the last 3 episodes 90 minutes or whatever. Like, I was not a fan of this. You know, it was good, and I think the writing was fairly good, and, you know, what happens is fairly entertaining, but it's just like, they don't give us the answers to the questions we need. Like, it just pisses me off. But the episode starts out, Priscilla is at her house, all shot up from the last episode, and Fury gives her a call, and she's like, "Oh, you haven't called this number in years." He goes, I've dialed this number 1,000 times. I've just never hit call, and this time I finally did. So he's like, finally, you know, getting over his self, and he's like, you know, take care of yourself, just to start out how this whole episode's gonna go. We cut to Fury sends a Volvo in, just rolling slowly up to the gate of New Scrollos, the radiation plant in Russia. Sends a car up to it. 2 Skrulls shoot the car. He's over on the side. It was a distraction. Kills 2 Skrulls. He heads into the gates of New Scrollos. And cut to the intro. Then we cut to President Ritson. He's in the hospital still, and he's getting Rhodey and another officer's advice on what he should do in response to the Russians' attack. So Rhodey's trying to, like, weasel his way into being like, that wasn't Skrulls. I don't care about the green guy you saw on the news. No, those weren't Skrulls. It was definitely the Russians. And then Gravik's working with the Russians, so like this tank's moving, so that they're trying to get the nuclear plant that they were at bombed and wipe out all the people that are actually people that are the Skrulls have taken, put in those pods. So all those regular humans are in those pods. You know, no one knows how long they've been taken. They all wake up from their pods like fucked up. This is like a good episode, but they should have elaborated more in certain parts. Like certain scenes should have been much longer, and they just kind of cut around stuff. Sonya then calls Rhodey. Rhodey doesn't know that Sonya knows that he's a Skrull, so he's talking to Sonya about Fury information. Says Fury's coming to the hospital to get the president, and that's actually true, but we don't know that yet. So we're like, oh no, Fury's at the Russian plant. He's just walked in. He's like coughing from the radiation. So I don't know why, if the whole time it was Gaia, why was she coughing from radiation? That made no sense. Was she just acting as Fury this whole time? Okay. That whole part, like, if you're gonna sell so hard that it's Fury and then just make it somebody else, there should have been some more signs that it was somebody else the whole time. And we thought the whole time it would have been Soren or somebody. No answers on Soren. Talos is definitely dead. Maria Hill's still dead. Yeah, sure, Ross and Rhodey were in a tank somewhere. So much, we'll get to it. So much pissed me off about this episode. It really did. I mean, as much as I wanted to like it, so much more of it pissed me off. Ugh. So Sonya gets Rhodey to move the president. Fury makes his way to the lab. Gravik says everyone's been locked away, so all his Skrulls that are him, like with him, are locked away. All the rest of them, Fury's been walking through this plant, or this compound, just seeing dead Skrulls all over the place. So it seems like Gravik's been busy killing folks. We do get an answer on who Gravik's face is. Gravik's face is the first human he killed because of Fury, because Fury sent him on a mission when he was a young Skrull. And, you know, he says, this whole scene where Gravik's with Fury, he goes off, man. He's like, you know, you were my hero, and blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, Kingsley Ben-Adir's so good in this scene. Yeah, this whole scene between Gravik and Fury in the lab, it's very, very good dialogue and very good writing, but they're just kind of sitting there. There's not really much going on. There's not much movement, except for Gravik's moving around, but Fury's kind of dying from radiation. And if this was Gaia the whole time, it doesn't really make sense how she had all this Fury information, unless Fury was feeding her this information. But Fury was like, you know what I felt right before like this whole great line right before it, that I was like, oh wow, that's some information. And then a second or two later, it's Gaia, like. But he's like, you know what, I felt relief right before I got blipped. The last thing I felt was relief that I didn't have to fight anymore. And then, you know, he comes back, and then he's like, I came back to Earth because of you, Gravik, my young first apprentice. Like, I cared about you. And then he says he wants to offer him the harvest, give him, because he failed him and failed the Skrulls and weren't able to find them home. It says that he knew about 2 years into his deal that he made them, his promise that he made them, that he knew after searching for 2 years that he wasn't going to be able to find them a planet for them to go and inhabitate. So Fury says, because I failed, I'm just going to give you what you want. The harvest with the Carol Danvers DNA and a whole bunch of other people's DNA. And he takes it, puts it in a machine. And he's like, wow, it's pure. It's real. It's actually real. And, you know, and then we see a screen shuffle by all these DNAs. It's by so quick that there's probably even more. But we see Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We see Steve's name, Steve Rogers. We see Bucky. We see Corvus Glaive, Thanos, the Outriders, Proxima Midnight, Captain Marvel herself, Carol Danvers, the Abomination, Mantis, Cull Obsidian, Drax, Korg, Ebony Maw, the Frost Beast, Hulk, the Chitauri, the Valkyrie, Thor, Gamora, Groot, and possibly more. Right? So there's so many people that now Gaia has the DNA, and so does Gravik, because Fury is still in the pod and Gravik fires up the machine. So we see the ripped up, after the machine goes through, you see Gravik is just like roided up Skrull. And, but it makes no sense, because if he, was in his normal skin and then all of a sudden he's this ripped Skrull because of what happened from the harvest, if she was a Skrull, why wouldn't she have had the same thing happen to her as that Gravik did? You can't think too much about this episode, because you start being like, wait, I was dumb. But so Gravik throws up Fury, still acting weak, and then all of a sudden he throws a punch and Fury grabs it, and you're like, oh shit, Fury's got powers, and then Fury ends up just being Gaia, and you're like, oh, okay. So that whole part with that great acting with SAML.JACKSON and Kingsley Ben-Adir as Gravik and Fury right there, that was actually Gravik and Gaia. Okay, but then Gravik and Gaia have this big fight, and Gaia now has all the powers of all the people I just named. You know, he's got hulky powers, she's grabbing him with like a Korg arm, and fucking Carol Danvers punches him and blows out his chest. Right, so you see all these, you know, her having these great powers now. You know, her eyes glowing just like Carol. So now, you know, what is she going to be in the Marvels? I hope that movie gives us some more of the answers we need and the questions we're asking. But I don't know. In that big fight of them, we see, you know, Groot arms. We see Mantis's antennas, so Mantis blood. We see Ebony Maw, you know, what's his name? Gravik does a little Ebony Maw thing. We see Gaia flex a Drax muscle with his tattoos. We see her obviously glowing like Carol. We see Gravik like Hulk. You know, so we see the Super Skrull and how they took elements from all the CGI characters and all the real characters from these movies and just put them all into these Super Skrulls, which is like a decent idea, but man, I just don't know. It felt so anticlimactic of an ending, like, and it should have felt like this was the best episode of all of them, and I don't know, it just didn't feel like the best episode. It just felt like, all right, everything's supposed to be this climactic thing, and nothing really felt climactic. Like, even the fight, like, I wasn't like, oh, like, I was kind of like, hey, ooh, I should have been like, you know, my brain should have been exploding, but I'm fucking, okay, kind of expected this to happen. Then, like, and, like, he's been healing from all these injuries for, the last 4 episodes, and then all of a sudden she punches a hole in him and he's just dead now. No extremis now, no healing now. Okay, so I think Gravik might still be alive. So at the same time as this is happening, we're cutting back and forth, and Fury, actually the real Fury, is so Sonya wasn't lying. Real Fury was coming for the president, and he comes in the room and he's like, President? He's like not holding his gun, and Sonya's got Rhodey, and the president's got a gun on like Fury and Rhodey going back and forth, and he's like, what the fuck is going on here? He's like, listen, he is your enemy. He is a Skrull. And he's like, no, he's not. This is Colonel Rhodes. I know who Colonel Rhodes is. A war machine, our best old buddy. He could not be a Skrull, but we already know he's a Skrull. His name's Rava. And Fury, she makes a move, tries to grab the gun. Fury shoots her right between the eyes. Skrull blades all over the wall. Purple blood. Turns back into a Skrull. Ritson makes the call not to bomb the facility with all the humans in it. We see real Rhodey come out of the pod. We see Ross come out of the pod. Ross is like, Colonel Rhodes, how long have you been here? He's still in a gown, so maybe he was in the gown from this scene where he's getting put in MRI from, I think, what's that, Captain America Civil War, when he breaks his legs, and his legs still weren't working, right? There's 2 military guys carrying him out of the compound, so I don't know, maybe Rhodey here has been gone since Civil War, so all of that Endgame stuff was fucking a Skrull, like, but they didn't actually answer the question, so we don't know how long he's been gone. Hopefully that maybe will all be answered. Those questions will be answered in Armor Wars. When will Armor Wars be? Who the fuck knows? Maybe these questions will be answered in the Marvels, but that movie seems to be doing a whole bunch already. Like, they should have answered the questions here and now. Like, they had the chance to. They just blew it. Like, but I'm glad to see Ross isn't dead. I'm glad to see Rhodey isn't dead. But they could have, you know, Maria Hill's. Why'd you have to kill Maria Hill? You had to kill Talos, like, definitively. Like, that sucks. It really sucks. Like, Talos was one of my favorites, and so was Maria Hill. Like, what are you telling me? Colby Schmolders couldn't get some more checks? Like, come on. Colby Schmolders is the shit. What we do get towards the end of this episode is Sonya and Gaia. Sonya meets up with Gaia, and Gaia's like, yo, you're going to need a whole lot more than just a couple agents if you're going to want to stop me. And she's like, no, I want to work with you. Your people need a leader, and you need help. And she's like, my father did something like that and made a deal, and it wasn't worth it. And she's like, well, let's not do what Talos and Fury did, shall we? Let's do it the right way and not bring love and friendship into this, because Sonya's a cold-hearted bitch, so she's all about the business. So MI6 is now funding Gaia and Skrulls, so that should be interesting. Maybe a Captain America Brave New World plotline. I hope so. Maybe not. We also see Ritson. He makes a statement to the world that Skrulls were the terrorists that attacked him, and all species from off-worlds are now enemies. And any species from off-world. So the Guardians that come here from off-worlds, technically, Scar, fucking Hulk's son came from an off-world, technically. So all those off-world peoples are now enemy combatants. And President Ritson's trying to file a bill, and then he gets on the phone with Fury, and he's talking to him, and he's like, yo, listen. If you're still with the Skrulls, you fucking get off my planet. So Fury does. Fury gets off the goddamn planet. But he's like, yo, listen, you made a bad situation and made it worse. That's real one-term president stuff. And I died laughing. I was like, yeah, it is. I'm like, that's some real one-term president stuff. Meaning, I think foreshadowing that Harrison Ford's going to become the president pretty soon in some project, whether that be Captain America Brave New World or something before that. Who knows? But Fury asks him to call off his war, and Ritson's like, psh, that's not happening. If you truly care about them Skrulls, get off my planet, boy. So then Priscilla shows up right before Fury's about to get on the jet to leave, and Priscilla and him, have a nice little conversation. He's like, come with me. She's like, okay, I'll come. I'll help you get started, but I have to come back. My work's on Earth. What is her work? Last time we've seen her, she was making coffee in her house. So what is her work that she's been doing? Makes no sense, really. President Ritson is, calling pretty much all Skrulls on the planet as enemies. So you see Fury while he's on the phone, they're cutting through attacks, and you see the shooter McGavin gets shot at his news desk by 3 hoodlums. And he's like, and then you have idiots killing people that they think are Skrulls. They're like people coming up to a lady at a podium, probably a senator or something. She gets shot twice, and she's actually not a Skrull, and she's one of the only real humans still left in these high up positions. And the guys, they're idiots killing people that are real humans, thinking they're Skrulls. So it's just pretty much war on the planet right now after the end of this episode, because Vara and Fury pretty much say that they love each other still, and that Fury really loves her in her own green skin as she is. They get the whole there's a 15-second Skrull Fury makeout session, big makeout sesh to end the episode. Then they get on the thing and then end. No post-credit scenes. What? So what did this show do? This show just showed us that, okay, Fury's not dead. He's up in Saber with Priscilla, so Priscilla's probably going to be in the Marvels. I wouldn't be shocked, right? Because we've seen from the trailers of that Fury's in it. So whatever, it's aggravating because there's no connections. If Fury's going to be in that, then why did this show have no real connections to Kamala Khan or mentions of Monica Rambeau? Just Carol Danvers' DNA. So now Gaia is pretty much Carol Danvers' Super Skrull, and she's now working with Sonya, which is not the U.S. government. So at least the next time we see Gaia, she's going to be with Sonya. So Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke going to be coming back. That's good. I don't think Gravik's dead, but if he is, who cares? Which isn't the response you should be having for your main villain of your series. You should care that he's gone or not. Right? You should want him to be coming back, or you should be like, oh, he's dead, good. Or you should be, I should have been ecstatic about this episode, and I'm just not. And, maybe I missed some things, and maybe I didn't, but maybe I should have felt differently about moments, but I don't know, something about it just didn't feel very satisfying. It just felt just not how a finale should feel, after a finale, you should feel like, wow, that was a good fucking episode. Loki's season finale, great. WandaVision, not the best finale, but like the whole show leading up to that was a banger, right? So even if they didn't stick that landing perfectly, the whole show was a banger, right? Like where this show, I don't know if I'm gonna say this one was a banger. I think it's good. And if you like Samuel Jackson, he's great. But overall, like at the end of your show, you should feel like satisfied, and I don't. I feel sad. Like I feel like Talos is gone, right? We only got him in Captain Marvel and briefly in Far From Home, like, and he was still playing as Samuel Jackson. So really, it was Samuel Jackson the whole time, like Fury. I don't know. We should have got more Talos. We should still have Maria Hill. We should have found out when Ross and Rhodey were taken. It's very sad. It's very sad indeed. And maybe this was still shot during COVID time, so maybe that hurt the show. But maybe the show should have been dropped all at once and just binge-worthy. Maybe I would have liked it more. But making me wait a week from last episode to this episode, I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't really love it. So comment below, what are your thoughts on Secret Invasion as overall, and what did you think of this finale? Was it good? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Comment all these things below. What are you excited for in the future? I know for me, Loki Season 2 is going to be coming out, in October. I'm super excited for that. So we'll be talking about that, so stay tuned for more, and check out my movie reviews, check out my Letterboxd. All my links will be down in the description below. At me on Twitter if you have any questions. I got answers, so at me and I'll get back to you. Hit me up in the comment section down below if you have thoughts on this video. I'm really eager to hear everyone's opinions and see what the internet thinks about this. This morning people were real quick to the spoilers. I saw a lot of the spoilers for this episode before I watched it, so maybe that ruined this episode for me. But at the same time, they were out of context, so like I kind of saw stuff, but I was like, oh, I have no idea what this means. And then when I saw them in the show, I wasn't blown away. But you know, maybe I would have been if I had no knowledge at all. So maybe Twitter ruined this episode for me. Who knows? All I'm saying is I think it could have been better, and I don't think Secret Invasion landed the bird quite like I would have liked. But that's all from me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned for more, and I will do more movie reviews, and maybe I'm going to be going to a Lego store soon. Who knows? Comment below if you want to see any more of that stuff and what you want to see me watch in the future. If you have any movie recommendations for me, I'm mostly appreciative of those down in the comment section below, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Peace.